I don't know what event this is, but we're going to watch it. The Lead Pipe Orchestra. It's honoring military mommies at the White House. J.D. Vance comes to all of these events. Doesn't he have anything else to do?
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. It's a great honor. We just made a very big deal with the UK, United Kingdom, on trade, which is shocking everybody. They said, oh, gee. And we just had the Ukraine. We just were notified that Ukraine just approved our big rare earth deal, which could be worth trillions of dollars.
Yeah, we'll see if we see any of that.
And overall, we're doing very well. We have a lot of things happening. We have a very big conversation in Switzerland taking place this weekend with China. Has anyone heard of China recently? Yes. And they want to make a deal very badly, and I wouldn't be surprised, but we have tremendous things happening on trade, the likes of which we've never seen before. The UK deal was a big one. They've been trying to make that deal for 25 years. They've been unable to do it, and we were able to do it, and it was really something special. The Prime Minister was on the phone and the whole thing. It was really great. And now they're negotiating various other very, very big, strong trade deals. Nobody thought it would be
Really hope Brad welcome in.
Look at our great Congresswoman over there. Nobody thought.
Elite Dumber Brad says Brad is on. JD is on his way to the Vatican right now to kill another pope. I like it, Brad. Welcome in. Strong first comment.
We have senators. We have the whole ball game here, huh? Hi, Joni.
You're a big deal, sir. Of course, there's people
with that,
here.
I'll thank everybody for being here. This is a special building, a very, very special place. There's nothing like it anywhere in the world. No matter where you go, they come in, they say, wow, this is something. And I want to give a very big welcome to the White House and all of the people that come here and they love this place, but most importantly to the military moms, by far the most important, right, JD? It's still a few days early, but let me be the first to wish everybody a very happy Mother's Day. It's going to be a great Mother's Day, and very happy. I had a great mother. I had a mother. She was such an angel. She could be very tough, I will say, but she had her tough moments, some difficult moments she had, Pam, but overall, very, very good. I will tell you, I had a great one. I especially want to thank one of the best moms that I know that I've ever seen. Sometimes she's almost too good. She is so good with Barron. But he's grown up strong and nice, and he's a good boy. He's a good student, so I want to thank you. You've done a great job. Thank you, honey. Great First Lady.
Wow. That's cute. That is so cute.
To Marine veteran, Vice President.
It is cute. I like it a lot, actually. Welcome in, Founding Fathers. Elite Domer.
A mother of 3 young children. And we know that they're going to do very well in school because they were the 2 top students at Yale Law School. So genetically, they should be in good shape, right? They're not going to say, gee, Mom, I can't figure this out. But also with us is Attorney General, special person, by the way, Pam Bondi. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Pam. And Secretary Hegset's wonderful wife, Jennifer. Jennifer? Thank you.
I wish we didn't introduce everyone at every event.
And Press Secretary Caroline Levitt. Hey, she's become a star.
We love Caroline Levitt, sir.
I don't know, that face. She's become a big star. Don't ever leave us, you know?
Don't ever leave me.
Don't ever leave us. But you wouldn't trade it for the world. I know that. You wouldn't trade it for the world. As for spouses of our service members, we're never forgetting the burdens that you bear when your loved ones are deployed and the sacrifices you have to go through. As military moms, you make these sacrifices in your families so that all of our families can be safe and be free. Our country is strong and respected because you choose to live the life of service and you have done that. Incredible people.
Deborah says
As
you
your
acknowledge
commander-
all of us. Well, that's nice. Well, it's because I love that you guys always come and hang out with me, Deborah. I appreciate that, Deborah. Overtaxed Minnesota says Ballyho, Mr. Rotella, and Domer freaking Forbes says Overtaxed. What's up, Overtaxed? Welcome in, Ballyho.
In Chief, let me take this opportunity to salute you and to thank you on behalf of every single American. Every single one respects you and loves you. Thank you. And represented in this room are
You are special,
the
Deborah.
nation's
You're a
finest
Domer.
Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force. I love Space Force, you know.
We just
I
watched a
have
documentary
special
on
little
Space
feeling
Force.
for
Check
Space
our
Force.
archives.
When I did it, they said, you're kidding. And now we're #1 in space by a lot. We were getting decimated in space, but now we're #1 by a lot. I was very proud of that. First time in 78 years that we had a new force, Coast Guard and Marines. I especially want to thank those of you who support the First Lady and me every day, including the military and social aides here and in the White House. Incredible support. In this room are crew members of Air Force One, said to be the best pilots in the world. I don't know. Where are you? Raise your hands. I want to get ready. We're going to take a little trip this weekend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Said to be the best. You better be the best because I'm traveling with you. Nurses from the White House Medical Unit, musicians from our great military bands. They do such beautiful work. When we have dignitaries, they come around. They're as good as anybody in the world. You can go to the Philharmonic of any place, and they're as good as anybody. And so many others, dedicated and devoted service members.
Do a barrel roll,
You
says
all do
Brad.
an outstanding job, and you should take tremendous pride in what you're doing and what you do. I'm pleased to
Oh,
report
little
that
Philly says my husband got me watching. He's overtaxed. Welcome in, little Philly. You know something, little Philly. The couples that dome together stay together. That's probably why he invited you into the dome. Welcome in, Miss.
since November, enlistment numbers.
Have you hit that follow button yet? Overtaxed. Come on, what's going on? We gotta get her to hit that follow button.
For every branch of the armed forces has surged to the highest levels in 48 years. Can you imagine? Now, I do want to say that during the campaign, I used it all the time because it was good to use. I use whatever I have to do to win. You don't mind, do you? But I used it all the time. Your numbers were so bad. It was so embarrassing. Nobody was signing up. Nobody wanted to go in the armed forces. Nobody wanted to be a policeman. Now, just a short time later, that was in June, July, and then we started surging, and they started getting better and better, right, JD? But once November 5th took place, they had numbers signing up like we've never seen before, probably, maybe ever. But they say the minimum, you know, you're talking 30, 40 years. Nobody wanted to sign up. They weren't proud of our country. Now they're so proud of our country that we have the
Valley
highest,
Home, Miss
we've
Jay
attained
White,
the
welcome
highest
in.
levels, I think, ever. And the police forces, too. And the firefighters. I never forget the firefighters. They're all doing great because people now love our country and they're proud of our country again. And it's only been really 3 months. It's not that bad, right? Right, honey?
I've
I
always
think
loved our
maybe-
country, but I
maybe
love
they
it even
like
more.
Our First Lady and our incredible Usha, Second Lady. I always have a hard time saying Second Lady. I'm not sure is that a compliment or not. I say, JD, do you like me calling her the Second Lady? I don't know. That's the way it's been. She is a great person, great person. We used to have shortages. Now we have waiting lists because of all of this great spirit that's really devolved. It's been incredible. So as we celebrate military mothers today, we look forward to an incredible future for the United States Armed Forces and for our country itself, and for those great service members and for all of you who love them so much. And now it's my pleasure to introduce that very special woman that I talked about, our great First Lady, and she's loved by all. I just walked by the Rose Garden, and that is the most beautiful thing. We
Deborah
saw it
says
yesterday.
better than Vice Lady.
You know, she took
yeah,
a
I
lot
like
of
that
heat.
better than
She
Vice
did it.
Lady
It was
too.
so gorgeous, and these people couldn't do that if they tried. And those flowers were blooming. I said, how the hell? Two weeks ago, this is like beautiful green, but it was not. And now it just happens so quickly. But you did some job. Thank you very much, honey. Come on up.
Oh, we're gonna hear from Miss Melania. God damn, the off the shoulder coat, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Good Lord. Oh my God.
Welcome. And thank you very much.
Did someone
for
just
your
woo
kind
at the
words.
First Lady? Who did that? Who wooed at the First Lady?
The best
Motherhood.
is yet to come.
You're right, little Philly. The best is yet to come now that you hit that follow button. Thank you so much. Ballyho, welcome in.
The life-changing event that makes women invincible and exposed at the same time. It's remarkable, really, that my son's life creates unimaginable, unpredictable concerns and thrills for me, even until this day. All caring mothers understand this rare feeling. Nothing against fathers, of course. But in my opinion, and I'm sure everyone in this room agrees, only a mother can grasp this particular point. Military mothers and America, together, have developed an extraordinary parallel journey. They are filled with stories of personal
Habs.
sacrifice, determination, loss, and healing. Certainly, only military mothers have experienced this level of grace and resilience of American life. And finally, aging. A sudden shift in family dynamics. An unexpected positioning change in life when caretakers become the caregivers.
Yeah, aging.
If this has happened within your family, you understand the precious nature of motherhood. Here now, in the White House, at this pivotal moment, I urge you to prioritize your well-being, nurture yourself, for your strength is the
And that's exactly why we have an open bar.
bedrock of a brighter future for our children. By caring for ourselves, we empower the next generation to thrive. Together, let's build a legacy of resilience and hope. Your journey matters. Embrace it. And indeed, the sacred strength of women is a profound force. With unwavering love and nurturing wisdom, we have the ability to inspire, uplift, and shape the future hearts of our children. This power, rooted in compassion and resilience, is a beacon of hope that lights the way for generations to come. Let us unite to honor the beauty of motherhood, champion the grace of our journey, and inspire those who follow. A mother's love and wisdom empower our children to flourish, instilling in them the courage to reach their full potential. Motherhood. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
I mean, I like her a lot, right? I mean, the style is out of this world. Is he going to help her down the steps? My friends, my friends. Want to dance, Arya? Come here. And I think to myself, what a wonderful cat. There you go, sweetie. Okay. All right. All right. I know that's what I know that's why you guys tune in. Mr. Rotella, dancing with Aria. I would totally tune in for that too. We got Don Don joining us. Says politicians suck. From the back row. Politicians suck. We know Don Don. They're all in the club, says Don Don. Twit this rocking out. Thank you, Twit this. Brooklyn Rose joining us. What's up, Brooklyn Rose? Says, aw, dancing with Kitty Cat. I mean, I am a cute guy. What can I say? Don Don says, Pam Bondi is useless. Don's just coming and throwing Molotov cocktails everywhere inside the chat. All right. What do we got coming up next, my friends? We've got everyone's favorite president, without exceptions, President Trump, inside the beautiful Oval Office, signing a trade deal, our main event. Welcome to the Dome.
Might have to flip a tiny table. Thank you, Domettes. Is Sharon here? Aria. Oh, Sharon's here. Welcome to the Dome. Welcome to the Dome. Welcome to the Dome. Yeah. Welcome to the Dome. Welcome home, and we'll never be alone. Say hello to Gorilla, scrolling through our phones. Showing Mr. Rotella can't be owned. Holding on to hope and a mustache comb. They're losing control of the narrative. They're calling using common sense scandalous. The vote in blue with no embarrassment. We're just looking for truth through the camera fib. There it is. Who are we gonna trust? Turn off MSM. Everybody speaking this sucks. We're not giving up our guns. We're not eating the bugs. We're supporting Trump until he's legally won. Left installed to popping it. We can see what he's done. Joey, most folks didn't even need him to run. We've been placing some bets in and laying some lessons. Amazing we have this many paying attention. And we've been learning for years, burping up beers, screaming to the cause, and I'm sure that I'll cheers. Left's probably wrong, but they're certainly weird. Every day I keep saying we've seen the worst of the year. Craziest story ever told. Change is coming and we're helping it unfold. I'm smelting in my nose, I'm belted in my bones. You can tell it to the clones. We're in for one hell of a show. Welcome to the Dome. Welcome to the Dome. Welcome to the Dome. Welcome to the Dome, yeah.
This started off Trump's day at, I think, 10 a.m. they had this meeting. Let's do it.
You all set to go?
And action.
Ready when you are.
Okay, we're ready. We have the Prime Minister on the phone, and we have a nice hookup. This looks like the kind of a hookup that's not going to be causing any problems. And your voice comes through beautifully, Keir. So I just want to...
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it is. You sound great. I just want to begin by saying that this is a very special day.
I hope we keep him on the phone the whole hour as we're talking to the press.
Because it's Victory Day, World War II, May 8th. And just by happenstance, we have the Prime Minister on the phone, and we were great allies in that. And it's very unusual that the trade deal comes due, and we signed it up on the same day that we had a great victory, the greatest victory of them all. So we are talking more and more about Victory Day because we were a big part of it, and so was the UK. And it's just, I guess, I don't know what you call it. It's just incredible that that day is the same day that we signed a tremendous trade deal for both countries. So I'm going to begin by just adding that we just concluded the rare earth deal with Ukraine. That's been fully ratified and approved by their legislative branches, and so we appreciate that, and I'll be speaking with the president in a little while, a little bit
Valley Hill
later.
Fire guy, welcome in.
And we appreciate that, but the deal is all now signed up and ratified,
Valley Hill Aram, welcome in.
and we have access to a massive amount of very, very high-quality rare earth. This morning, I'm thrilled to announce that we've reached
Instead of the earth, hear me out, folks, let's just take Ukraine.
a breakthrough trade deal with the United Kingdom, incredible country.
57
Today
states.
is a victory day for World War II. We won the war together exactly 80 years ago, so there could be no more perfect morning to reach this historic agreement. And it's beautiful weather out. I will tell you that, Keir. Beautiful weather. It's
Valley
so
Hill Dome, stop
perfect
believing,
outside.
welcome in.
But it's really, in particular, the agreement with one of our closest and most cherished allies. And we're so happy.
You're not late for our date, Dome Stop Believing. Our date's tomorrow. Speaking of that, oh my God, I don't even know what we're going to watch tomorrow for date night.
happy that that's the way
We
it
got to
worked
talk
out.
about that later.
I want to thank
Maybe
Prime
something will
Minister
come up now.
Starmer and his very talented team for their outstanding work and partnership.
World War II documentary, Hitler, in-depth Hitler documentary. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Could be fun.
Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating over the past 4 weeks. With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade. The deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access for American exports, especially in agriculture, dramatically increasing access for American beef,
Ballyho JDO,
ethanol,
welcome in.
and virtually all of the products produced by our great farmers. And our Secretary, as you know, of Agriculture is here. Brooke, thank you very much for being here.
Good day. Thank you, sir.
You'll let the farmers know. In addition, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products, but this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries because it'll be really great for the UK also. So,
Arm says Hitler documentary for a date. Mr. Rotella is such a romantic. You know me, man. You know me. Wear your best Gestapo boots tomorrow.
they're opening
We haven't
up,
decided on a
the
Hitler
country.
doc yet.
Their country is a little closed, and we appreciate that. They'll also be fast-tracking American goods through their customs process, so our exports go to a very, very quick form of approval, and there won't be any red tape. Things are going to move very quickly both ways. The final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved. So good for both countries, and we'll also receive new market access for American
Russian
chemicals,
hat, funny
machinery,
arm.
and many other industrial products that weren't allowed. And they'll end up getting products that they'll be able to price, and if they like them better and we make great products, they'll be buying those products, but they were not available in the UK. Furthermore, in a historic step, the deal includes plans that will bring the United Kingdom into the economic security alignment with the United States. That's the first of its kind. So we have a big economic security blanket, and that's very important. And we feel very, very comfortable with that because it's been a great ally, truly one of our great allies. I mean, a lot of people say our greatest ally. I don't want to insult people by saying that, but I can say it's certainly one of our greatest, and right at the top. And they're the first one we're talking about. And by the way, we have many meetings planned today and tomorrow, and every country wants to be making deals. And we have a meeting, as you know, Scott will be going over to Switzerland on Saturday, and that'll be very, very interesting. We'll find out, but I think they want to make a deal very badly too. Both countries have agreed that the economic security is national security, and will be working together as allies
Down in front,
to ensure
buddy.
that we have a strong industrial base, appropriate export controls, and protections for key technologies and industries like steel. Steel is a big factor. Both countries will become stronger with steel and things
it is steel.
necessary for military. You know, we used to build ships and other things literally at a level that nobody's ever seen, and we haven't. We've eased up, and I would say that the UK certainly eased up, but now we're
don't
going to
think
be
so, Hap.
uneasing both, and we work together. Once again, I want to thank Prime Minister Starmer. He's been terrific for his partnership in this matter. The special relationship and external bond, it's really an external and an internal bond between our two countries, will soon be stronger than ever before. And we really do. We have a great relationship. I want to just say that the representatives of UK have been so professional, and it's been an honor doing business with all of them, and in particular the Prime Minister. And I'd like to introduce him now to say a few words. Mr. Prime Minister, please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. President, Donald. And this
Let's
is a
just call
really
him Mr.
fantastic,
President.
historic day in which we can announce this deal between our two great countries. And I think it's a real tribute to the history that we have of working so closely together. Can I pay tribute, Donald, to your negotiating team as well, particularly
Yes.
Howard and Jameson, who've done an incredible job, a very professional job, and my team as well. Two negotiating teams have worked at pace now for a number of weeks to
Oh, that's
bring
nice
in
of him to say.
this deal today. Really important deal. This is going to boost trade between and across our countries. It's going to not only protect jobs but create jobs, opening market access. And as you say, Donald, the timing couldn't be more apt, because not only was it 80 years ago today that victory came for Europe after and at the end of the Second World War, but of course on that day the UK and the US stood together as the closest of allies. And Donald, I think even down to the hour, because you may or may not know that it was about this time of day, exactly 80 years ago, that Winston Churchill announced victory in Europe, and that led to great celebrations across Europe, across America, but particularly in the United Kingdom. Literally people going out into the street, putting bunting up, going up to the palace. And so to
if there's one thing my apartment needs, it's more bunting.
to announce this great deal on
I like
the same
bunting. I do.
day, 80 years forward, almost at the same hour, and as we were 80 years ago, with the UK and the US standing side by side, I think is incredibly important and makes this
Arm says he's talking to the AI desk in charge of his Diet Cokes.
truly historic. That close relationship has endured over those 80 years.
I love a good
as
Diet
you know,
Coke button
Donald, when
joke.
it comes to defence and security and intelligence sharing, of course, there are no two countries that are closer than our two countries. And now we take this into new and important territory by adding trade and the economy to the closeness of our relationship. It is built, as you say, on those notions of fairness and reciprocal arrangements. We've always had a fair and balanced arrangement between our countries. This builds on that, hugely important for sectors like car manufacturing and for steel and aluminium and so many others. And yes, we can finish hammering out some of the details, but there's a fantastic platform here, including, of course, on the tech side, where I think I'm right in saying we're the only two Western countries with trillion-dollar sectors when it comes to tech. And in the end, it comes down to, as you say, Donald, economic security is national security. On national security, we've been absolutely the closest of allies for so many years, keeping the peace through that close alliance, that friendship. And now we add to that this deal on trade and the economy. And I want to thank you for your
Jay White says, this is strange. The Prime Minister sounds like a hostage.
leadership on that, Donald, and for the way in which your team have negotiated.
We've
this.
tied
I'm
his
so
hands with
pleased that we've
crimpets.
got this deal.
Is that
we've
a thing
finalised
in England?
it,
Crimpets?
and we've built an incredible platform for the future. So thank you so much, Donald. I'm now going to go and do a press conference. I think you have your press in with you, but on the details, I think
Oh,
if
you don't
you've got
want to stick
Howard,
around?
we can deal with that through one of my team.
That's great. Well, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much. It's an honor. We're going to have a continued, maybe a better relationship than ever before. You know, I don't know if the media knows, but the U.S. and U.K. have been working for years to try and make a deal, and it never quite got there. But
Yeah.
it did with this Prime Minister. So I want to just congratulate you.
Well, with this president, this prime minister, we've managed to achieve what many people have tried to achieve for many years.
That's right.
And I'm really pleased, and it feels
Okay.
completely historic
I'll
and,
take it.
on a special 80-year anniversary.
Congratulations,
as well.
everybody. We
Donald,
got a
thank you
trade
so
deal.
much. It's really good to have got this deal over the line. Tribute to both teams, tribute to our countries, and tribute to your leadership.
Thank you. Well, it really is a great thing. And you go do your press conference, and I'll see you soon. Maybe speak to you later. But thank you very much.
You hang up
an
first.
Incredible thing. I can't tell you that
For so many years, even as I sat, everybody talked and talked and talked about a deal with, it just seemed like a natural deal, but it was not done, but now it was done with us. So I feel very proud to have been a part of it. Keir, thank you very much.
Thanks, Donald, and we'll speak again soon.
Very good. So long. Bye.
Aw. I love you more, says Brad. I know, Brad. Thanks, Brad.
That's very nice. Why don't I do this? Why don't I have our Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, give a little description of...
Howard Lutnick has the dome split. Some people like him, some people don't. Put a 1 inside the chat if you like Howard Lutnick. Put a 2 inside the chat if you don't.
And then the good,
I like him.
good side, the very nice side, we'll be speaking about
He's a
it
hype
also,
man.
maybe. From so you get a pretty equal. I think it's a very. It's just been a deal that was, we thought, very complicated. It became very simple. It's opening up the country that we really didn't have the kind of access to that I would have thought. I was surprised. I think it's why the deal never got done before. It was, they've been working on this deal for 25 years. And we got it done, and we got it done. Really, it's going to be great for both countries. So, Howard, if you could go, and then somebody else, you may have, you'll pick whoever you want who'd like to do it. I have a feeling you're going to do it, right? So you guys go ahead, and then
That
we'll
was
take
awkward.
questions right after that. But I think you'll get a
But
pretty
you're
good
reaching
understanding
for there,
of
Trump.
how big it is. It's a very large deal, very big deal. And Howard, go ahead.
So the UK is the 6th largest economy in the world and the 4th largest that we export to, right? So it's a huge market, a top 10 market. If you remember Liberation Day, they were at 10% because we have balanced trade with the UK, right? They say they have a surplus, but of course that counts gold bullion, which is, so let's just call it balanced trade. So how do you open up a market in balanced trade? People think it's impossible. They've always thought it was impossible until President Trump came on the scene and changed the way things work. So here's what we've got. We've opened up new market access, ethanol, beef, machinery, all the agricultural products. They've agreed to open their markets, and that will add $5 billion of opportunity to American exporters. So the question is, why would they do that now? Because they've never done it before. And we still have our 10% tariff on, which will produce $6 billion of revenue for the United States. So the idea was, how do they keep their jobs, protect their economy, and do the best for their people while opening the market for us? And the way is they studied it, their team was exceptional, and they tried to figure out the markets that they're importing from other people and try to send them over to America. So why were they always favoring others and not us? And what they've done is they found the ways to do that so that we have new access, right? But the UK workers are protected, and that was the balance. So we did a deal with them in automobiles, and if you're not building here, we charge you a 25% tariff. But the president, and by the way, I want to make this clear, while Jameson and I worked hard, this was the president's deal, and people think, oh, that's not the way it works. If you got to sit next to him, I have the best deal maker to my left, and if you don't think that we take advantage of him calling the prime minister and getting that deal done, you don't understand who's the president of the United States. So he's the closer.
See, I love the hype
He gets
man.
deals done that we could never get done because he understands business, he understands deals, and that's why we're here today. So he agreed they could send 100,000 cars into America and only pay a 10% tariff. And that protects their car industry. And remember, we do 16 million cars a year. So this is only like 0.6%. But for the UK auto people, this is tens of thousands of jobs that the president agreed that he would protect for them. So he made that deal, right? Then steel and aluminum. Right? Their steel business has been destroyed like everybody else has been destroyed by people dumping steel into their markets. And British Steel had announced it was closing down. So the British government, as part of this deal, nationalized British Steel, and they're going to match the kinds of models we do. They'll put tariffs on, they'll put quotas on. They want to do it with America so they can be part of the resurgence of steel and aluminum in America, and that saves them, again, thousands and thousands of jobs.
Nationalizing, doesn't that mean that the government took it over?
So if you go step by step,
the government took over a private business?
Aero and commercial planes, they sell Rolls-Royce engines to Boeing. We've agreed to let Rolls-Royce engines and those kind of plane parts to come over tariff-free. And what you're going to hear today is there's going to be an announcement at the UK that they are buying $10 billion worth of Boeing planes later today, but I'm going to let the name of the airline announce it because that's theirs to do. But part of this deal was always to do it together and to do it strong, and you can see the numbers on this board. Everything about this board works exceptionally well for the United States of America. It lays out the plan that you can work with us in autos, you can work with us with aero and commercial, you can work with us in pharmaceuticals if you have a supply chain that is secure and protected in national security. So we feel really good about the deal. You've heard the Prime Minister.
It's a skeleton model of what we can bring everybody else. I like it, Howard.
He feels really good about the deal, right? And we started at 10% and we ended at 10%. And the market for America is better. And this is a perfect example of why Donald Trump produced Liberation Day. People don't understand. He gets things done in a matter of time. This would have taken Jameson and I 3 years, maybe. And instead, we got it done in 45 days, certainly, because we work for Donald Trump. So, Jameson, my partner in all this, maybe Jameson, you'd like to talk a little, and then we'll turn it over to the UK.
Sure, happy to do that. Everyone has had great remarks. I just have to echo the President and the Prime Minister when we talk about VE Day. This is something
Trump has so many little trinkets in this office. I always see something new. When did we add the statue of Andrew Jackson?
we've been waiting for decades, and there is no more appropriate date to do this. And when we step back and we look back a few weeks from now or months from now or years from now, we're going to look back at this day and better appreciate the significance, I think. And I'll just say as well, in terms of negotiating, I mean, the UK negotiators, you know, we've got one right here, did an incredible job, right? This is why you win wars, right? When you act like this.
I gotta get one of those challenge coins. I'm going to talk about that every time we're in the Oval Office.
Background. And I would say on this deal, Mr. President, what we've shown is that it is time to change the way we do trade. People said we couldn't do.
Sharon's here, says Trump is Gotti. There, I said it. Oh. I don't know Sharon's here. I don't know. When it comes to Trump's style and Trump's fashion and Trump's decor, right? Put a 1 inside the chat if you like it. Put a 2 inside the chat if you don't like it. Brad's calling for a Sharon here timeout. Jay White is calling for a Sharon's here timeout. Godspeed Trump calling for a Sharon's here timeout. Oh my God. We might have to. Let's see. Get it in the chat, my friends. Godspeed Trump says 1. RM 1. Animate 1. Deborah 1. UFO Johnny 1. Brad's gonna take back his like because of what Sharon said here now. Hab says I stand with Sharon. Fire Guy says leave my people be. J-Law says 2. We haven't given out timeout yet. They're turning on me, says Sharon's here. It was only a matter of time. Sharon's here. Fat Kitchen says 1. It's pimp. Founding Fathers doesn't like it. Mutiny on the ship, says Jay White. Okay, all right. We're gonna let Sharon's here stay, but let it be known that Trump's style is fantastic inside the Oval Office. I love it. Dome Radio says, I sustain as a mod. Smart.
A global tariff, we did a global tariff. They said no one would want to deal with us, people want a deal. They said no one would give offers. You saw that stack of offers I showed you yesterday of all those countries. Said we wouldn't get deals, and here we are with a deal with the 6th largest economy.
Yeah, rub it in their face.
We've agreed to have fair and reciprocal trade, and we've done it in record time.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Ambassador.
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much indeed in hosting us this morning.
And thank you very much indeed also for that very typical 11th hour intervention by you with your phone call to the President demanding even more out of this deal than any of us expected. So thank you for that. The Prime Minister was delighted, obviously, to take that call later tonight. But you took it to another level, and I think the point I would make is twofold. One is that if we're going to rebalance and rebuild
I'm good,
international
Ice,
trade,
thank you.
in a way that serves all our interests, then we're better doing that together than separately and apart, and that's what we're on a mission to do. But secondly, you've done what you said you would do. You said to the Prime Minister when he came and we visited in the Oval that you would do a good trade deal with the United Kingdom, that you would do it at pace, and that we would be first. And you have delivered that. You've been true to your word. So thank you very much indeed for that.
Promises made, promises kept, even to the UK.
For us, it's not the end. It's it's the end just of the beginning. I mean, there is yet more we can do in reducing tariffs and trade barriers so as to open up our markets to each other even more than we're agreeing
I
to
like
do
the sound
today.
of that.
But it also provides us with the platform, the
With a roadmap,
springboard,
if you will.
to do what I think will be even more valuable for both our countries in the future, and that's creating a technology partnership between the United States and the United Kingdom, so that we can harness science and technology in order to create future industries and future jobs, and to do that together in the way we work so closely already in the national security and defence area. We can just take that to yet further areas of science, enterprise and endeavour. So we're looking forward to doing that in the coming months. You've launched us extremely well today. It just, in my view, as the Prime Minister has
Don't
said,
Stop
just
Believing says, let's not be harnessing. I promise you, baby, you're going to love it.
shows what two countries who trust each other, who are confident in each other and are familiar with each other can do, not just for ourselves.
We are
but for
talking about the
those in
same
rest of the
harnessing,
world
right?
Who need to benefit from a bigger and better international trading system.
Thank you very much. It was beautifully stated. What a
I love it.
beautiful accent, too. I'd like to have that accent. Thank you.
My mother would be proud.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
James Matthews from Sky News.
Yes.
Can I ask, why Britain and why now? And you described this deal as a full and comprehensive deal, and yet we've just heard from Mr. Mandelson, it's the end of the beginning. Clearly, there's much more work still to do. With respect, are you overstating the reach and significance of this deal because you're a president who needs a result at a difficult time?
I think that it's a great deal for both parties. It's for us. We're opened
Ballyho
up.
Oda, welcome
I
in.
didn't know how closed it
Ely
was.
Domer.
Quite closed, the market, as you know, the UK, and it opens up a tremendous market for us, and it works out very well, and a lot of assets.
Go
You
to
see
the gym,
chart,
Aram.
and those are tremendous assets. But we've been trying, and when you say why us, meaning your country, we've been trying for years, and they've been trying for years to make a deal, including when I was in the, first term. It would always be people talking, but they weren't getting it done. But for 25 years before that, they were trying always to make a deal, a very significant deal. I actually, until I looked at the numbers, I didn't realize this is a very conclusive deal, but we think we can grow it even from that. But this is a maxed out deal, not like you said it. You said it really incorrectly. This is a maxed out deal that we're going to make bigger, and we make it bigger through growth. But we have tremendous assets involved. I was surprised to see how big your country is in trade, actually. One of the biggest in technology and so many other things. It's agriculture. I really didn't know. It's depending on your definition, it's from 4 to 5 to 6. That's pretty big in the world. So I was very impressed by that. But we're going to take it to new levels. It's a very big deal right now, but I think is going to grow just of its own volition. It's going to grow, and over time there'll be changes made, there'll be adjustments made because we're flexible. We'll see things that we can do even better, but it's very conclusive, and we think everyone's going to be happy, and the people of your country are going to be very impressed with the result, and they'll be able to buy from more people. They'll be able to price things differently. They'll be able to get some products that aren't available to them now that we make better than anybody in the world. And it's just something that it's a great thing that it came together. It's so nice because we have many countries want to make a deal, and many countries are very unhappy that we happen to choose this one, to be honest with you. But it's a long time, our oldest ally, or just about.
Who do you think we get trade deals with next?
That too, but let's put it right at the top.
I mean, it's got to be India
I think it's
next,
going to be
right?
something very special for UK and special for the United States. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. How close are you to more deals, and when do you expect the next?
That was my question.
Well, very close. We have numerous deals. I know Howard's going back as soon as this is finished. Your press conference, he's got numerous. And Scott, who's right over here, who's fantastic, by the way. You were great on television this morning. I watched you. That was you gave them a little lesson in the world and economics. But Scott's going to be going to Switzerland, meeting with China, and they very much want to make a deal. We can all play games. Who made the first call? Who didn't make the? It doesn't matter. It only matters what happens in that room. But I will tell you that China very much wants to make a deal. We'll see how that works out. Every country throughout the last 40, 50 years has literally ripped off the United States.
Ralston says transparency is horrible. I mean, what a huge difference, man. Streaming the Biden administration when we were watching Karine Jean-Pierre, just, I have nothing for you on that. I have nothing for you on that. I've already said all I could for that. To every single day being in the Oval Office, oh my God, it's fantastic.
Trade, on military and protection, on all the different things. And
I love
we
the
are now
office.
making fair deals. And in this case, it's great because we really weren't very much involved. You have the European Union, which is I think you made the right decision years ago. I don't know if you remember, I was opening up Turnberry the day that you were voting, and they asked me, would it happen or would it not happen? I said, no, I think they're going to go their own separate way. I think it's better for them.
Trump
And
is
they
always
did.
right.
I think it's going to end up being a very smart decision. But a big part of that decision was always that you'd be able to make a deal with the United States, and they were unable to do that. But now they made it, and it's a tremendous, it's very important. That was always a big part of your decision on Brexit, and they were never able to make that deal. It was a tough one, and this one was. It's amazing with time. This one just went very smoothly, went quickly and smoothly, and a lot of common sense, as I like to say. It's tremendous common sense, but it's going to make your country much bigger in terms of trade, and it's going to make our country much bigger in terms of trade too. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Behind you.
Tom Bateman at the BBC. Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, great. This ought to be good.
You mentioned meat.
You with who?
The BBC.
Oh, good. Very nice. They treat me beautifully.
You mentioned meat. The UK currently doesn't accept American beef because of its own food standards. Are you calling on the UK to accept all American beef and chicken products?
Well, I think they'll take what they want. We have plenty of it. We have every type. We have every classification you can have. As you know, Bobby Kennedy is doing a tremendous job, and he's, I think, probably heading toward your system with no chemical, no this, no that. I think we're heading that way. It seems to be. And but we have that also. So we're a very big country. We have a lot of beef. We're a very big country, so it'll be great. Yes, yes.
Do you want me to jump in?
Yes.
Let's talk about American beef really quickly, and it can't be understated. I'm Brooke Rollins, by the way.
I love the jump in by Miss Rollins, Agriculture Secretary. I think even Trump's impressed by the jump in. I like it. I love the initiative.
How important this deal is and what this means to American farmers and ranchers. Specific to the beef, this is going to exponentially increase our beef exports. And to be very clear, American beef is the safest, the best quality, and the crown jewel of American agriculture for the world. So I think a really important part of this deal isn't just the ethanol reducing of tariffs from 19 to 0, which for our row croppers is a huge deal, but also for beef. And as we move forward, I know our incredible trade team is looking at all of the meats, all of the produce, really all of our agriculture.
I bet
exports.
you are,
And
Brooke.
I don't know if there's
All
an
the
industry
meats.
that has been treated more unfairly and has suffered more than our agriculture industry. So we look forward to, I'll be in the UK on Monday, talking to my counterpart over there for next week, and look forward to moving that out across the country. The president is
I think
incredible.
we could say that we have the best in the world, best tractors, the best everything in the world, and they say that our agriculture is, second to none. You understand, and it'll be a great asset. People are going to be able to have options, choice, and they'll have more of it, and that usually means lower prices. How about we'll do you and then you?
Dome Stop Believin', have you even been to your Dome homework yet? Your Dome work? Have you even been to the American Diner in the UK? Did you just get back from Portugal? Did you just get back from visiting Orem? I mean, you guys had your power grid turn. Just because you had your power grid turn off does not mean you cannot go to the American Diner.
Follow-up question for the Italian TV, Daniele Compatangelo, LA7, TV2000, Primetime Media. So congratulations for the deal. We see a big revenues from the chart. But what's the rest of Europe?
Okay, fine.
It's a victory
Don't
day,
stop
but
believing,
other
fine.
European countries, it seems like they're losing the
We
train.
intended to make a deal with Europe. We have found that the European Union treated us extremely unfairly, very difficult, and hurt themselves in doing so. And they very much want to make a deal. We'll be dealing with them. We are dealing with them currently.
Orem says it was the apocalypse for one whole day here. Is that what it's like when you can't watch the Dome?
So that'll
Wow.
cover.
I never thought of it.
Pretty much the
I'm
rest
always
of
here.
it. But this was separate because of Brexit in particular. This was a separate deal. It always seems so natural. I mean, all the media would say that this seemed to be like, why did this happen 25 years? Why didn't it happen a long time ago? And it was always amazing to me. Somebody would say, hey, we got to make a deal. We have to make a deal. But this deal just fell into place. The Prime Minister did a fantastic job. His representatives are total professionals, and they got along well. And it just seemed to work. And I think one of the reasons it did is because we blew up the whole system. If we would have just been dealing with you separately or, country by country,
Copy,
we
don't
blew
stop
up the
believing.
whole system. It was very fair to very unfair to the United States. And I think because of that, this worked out so nicely. And I'm honored that it was the first deal. Please.
Sir, you mentioned.
Well, why don't you go in the back? Yes.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'm with the London Times. I would say this is a great day for James Bond because now Aston Martins will be available to American buyers. But it'll be even better by extending it to film. You've talked about a big tariff on films, and we'd like to know if there'd be relief on British.
Well, we're going to have a discussion on that separately. And as you know, we're putting tariffs on that particular film, you said, the movie makers. And we're going to be doing some tariffs to get them because a lot of them have left this country. They all live here. The money comes from here. Everything comes from here, but they make them in other countries. So we're going to do something to bring them back, maybe to a large extent. But James Bond has nothing to worry about that, I can tell you. James Bond. And Sean Connery was a friend of mine. Sean Connery was responsible for my getting zoning in Aberdeen. He said, let the bloody bloke build his golf courses. And, I was like 4 years into the process, and it was impossible in Aberdeen. And he just stood up one day and he said that. As soon as he said that, I got the approvals in about 2 minutes. So he was a great guy, Sean Connery, and great character.
Later in the year, are you going to Scotland and to the UK?
I will be, sure. It's great. We have a lot of investment over there. We have Turnberry, Aberdeen. We have, as you know, in Doonbeg in Ireland, right on the ocean. They're all on the ocean. I only have interest if they're on the ocean. And we have good investments
But
over
sir,
there.
what
Beautiful.
about global warming?
Yes.
Mr. President, if the talks go well this weekend between Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Greer with their Chinese counterparts, not preemptively, but if the talks go well, would you then consider lowering the tariff rate on China?
No.
Well, it could be. I mean, we're going to see. Right now, you can't get any higher. It's at 145, so we know it's coming down. I think we're going to have a very good relationship. I always got along very well with President Xi. That relationship was greatly disturbed by COVID when COVID came in. but we get along very well now. I mean, the relationship was hurt with a lot of people, a lot of countries when COVID came in. But I think we're going to have a very good relationship. I expect to have a very good relationship with China, Scott. I think it's a very friendly meeting. They look forward to doing it in an elegant way. China, as you know, has a tremendous trade surplus with us, and we just can't have that. And but I think it's going to be very good for both countries. I would like to see China opened. You know, one of the big things here is, and nobody would know this, but the UK was largely closed. It was very much closed to trade, and now it's opened. And a lot of the financial reporters are very happy about that because so much. I listened to them. Well, I hope they get countries opened up, and then you compete on a fair basis. But you can't compete when you're not allowed to go there. China would be the number one example of that. You know, it's very closed. We almost had it last time before COVID. And that didn't work out. But we made a great deal with China. They had to buy $50 billion worth of our food products. And it was a great deal, doing very well for our farmers. And then when Biden came in, as usual, nothing happened. You know, he didn't enforce it. And it got less. And ultimately, you know, it destroyed a great deal.
But
that was
he
a
did
great
have
deal.
a great view appearance today.
No, I think that we're going to have a good weekend with China. I think they have a lot to gain. I do think they have far more to gain than we do in a sense, but we're going to have I think we're going to have a very good weekend.
Will you speak to Xi after the weekend talks?
I might, yeah, sure, depending on what Scott says. We Scott is doing certain countries and Howard's doing certain countries. I mean, I wish I had like 10 more of each, then we could do them all at one time. But there will
Sir, just wait until you hear about the clone machine in Terama.
We'll do a number of them, and then there'll be a time, I think I can say this, Scott and Howard, where we're just going to say, because we understand the countries, we understand what they want, where we're just going to make the deal. In other words, we don't need the country involvement because we've already had it. And we'll say this particular country, which had big surpluses, let's say, we had therefore deficits, that this particular country is going to pay a 25% tariff or a 30% or a 50% or 10% or whatever it may be. I think we should explain it now, Howard. One of the things we did here that we'll rarely do is on cars, we took it from 25 to 10 on Rolls-Royce because Rolls-Royce is not going to be built here. I wouldn't even ask them to do that. You know, it's a very special car, and it's a very limited number too. It's not, you know, one of the monster car companies that makes millions of cars. They make a very small number of cars that are super luxury, and that includes Bentley and Jaguar. So we have some very special cars. So in order to help that industry, and
I don't even think about cars. Like it's not even something that enters my mind at all. I just need a car to get me to the grocery store and get me back to the stream, and that's it.
Really, you know, handmade
I really
stuff.
have the life of an 82-year-old woman.
They've been doing it for a long time in the same location. And I said, yeah, that would be good. Let's help them out with that one. But that's different than a car company that comes out and makes millions of cars, which they'll be doing in our country. They're going to build, we have many factories, car plants being built or going to be built very soon. I think we can say that we'll be close to $10 trillion of investment. I think we're actually at that number now if you add up some of the ones we haven't heard about yet. I mean, we have some going up right now. They have plants going up, and they haven't even spoken to us. They're doing it because of the tariffs. And tariffs have always been used against us, and I never understood. I used to sit back. As you know, China paid hundreds of billions.
Arm says, why not just, or Fire Guy says, why not just Uber then, Mr. R? It's Mr. Rotella, Fire Guy, come on. And what, paid $20, paid $10 to go to the store and then $10 to come back from the store? I don't think so. And plus, having the car outside gives me the option to go somewhere if I want to. I just don't want to.
Of dollars in tariffs when I was president, but until then, China never paid anything, and you know they really did a big number on us from the standpoint of trade. But we are using tariffs now for our benefit, and we have now close to $10 trillion. Think of that, $10 trillion. If you look at the past administration, and we're talking about over, essentially 2 months, because we could say 3, but it took a little while to get the office in perfect shape, right? It took a little while to get
Sharon's
things
here.
done. But once we started, when you think of that, close to $10 trillion of investment, you've had years where the United States wouldn't do that wouldn't do $1 trillion in a year, wouldn't do anywhere near $1 trillion. We did $10 trillion in 2 months. So it's amazing what's happening. We're getting calls from, and that has to do with chips, has to do with cars. We used to make chips. We had Intel, and we used to make chips. We had a monopoly on chips. Everything was made here. And now, over a period of years, because of presidents that didn't know what they were doing, they allowed that business to be stolen from us. Most of it moved to Taiwan. And you probably were in the same position, right? Because you had a lot of the chip-making capacity, but they moved it in. And if we would have said, that's fine. If you want to move it to Taiwan, that's good. But if you want to sell back into the United States, we're going to put a 50% or 100% tariff on, they would have never left. But we had people sitting here that didn't understand that, and it's too bad. But now they're coming back, because I'm saying it about 40 years too late, but they're coming back. As you know, we have the biggest chip makers in the world spending, in one case, $300 billion, in one case, $500 billion, same as Apple. And
Ronnie inside the chat, Elite Domer, host of Dome After Dark.
in another case, $200 billion. And we're going to have a large share, a very, very substantial share of the chip-making market.
You said that this weekend is going to be a friendly visit, but do you expect that it will just be a formality to break the ice, or are they going to get into substantive negotiations?
I believe so, yes. I believe it's substantive, yes. I think people like to say, yes, we're having a meeting to meet. Well, we're meeting, so what are we going to do? Talk about meeting again?
Oh my God, I love this fucking guy.
Substantive. I think we can
Yes!
say that, right, Scott?
How many
very
times? How many times have we talked about meetings inside the dome? Oh, but this guy totally watches the stream. That's a Dome Delta.
Now China wants to do something, and look, they have to at this point. Essentially, they made $1 trillion a year, and now they have absolutely, no business because of the tariffs. They have no business, and they want to have business, and we want them to have business. We want them to do well. We want them to do very well. So I think it's going to be very substantive.
Because business has slowed down, as you mentioned.
In China.
But we're seeing as a result, the ports here in the U.S., the traffic has really slowed, and now
That's good.
thousands of dock workers and truck drivers are worried about their jobs.
Yeah, no, that means we lose less money. When I see that means we lose less money. Look, China was making over $1 trillion, 1.1 trillion, in my opinion. Different numbers from 500 billion to $1 trillion or $1.1 trillion. I think it was 1.1 trillion. And frankly, if we didn't do business, we would have been better off. Okay, you understand that. So when you say it slowed down, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. But we're going to make it so they can. I'd like to say they can do better, actually, in terms of the bottom line. We'd like to see China opened up so we can compete in China and give people something that they've never had. Access to something that'd be great for the world. It would be great for our businesses, and I think it would be great for friendship. I really expect a lot of people think I'm a militant guy. I'm really not. I think that
he's a lover.
Trade can bring a greater friendship with
Did
China.
you see the rally in New York City? It was a love fest.
It can be something good, but one of the things that I know Scott's going to be talking about very high on the list is open up and let our businesses go into China, because when you talk about a closed country, that's a really closed country, and I think it would be great if it was opened up. It would give people a lot of choice and would create a lot of jobs, a lot of everything.
Yeah, that's what communists love, choice, sir. I think that's going to work out very well.
I think it would be a great thing for China, and that's going to be one of the things we'll be discussing, like we discussed with UK. Yeah, please.
So what does Britain have to do for you to drop the baseline 10% tariff that you're maintaining?
Well, I think that's set because that has to do with a lot of different things, including past. There are a lot of past things that we talk. This is very inclusive. We included everything, and that's pretty well set. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Mr. President, the 10% baseline tariff remaining in place, is that a template for these future trade deals? You say you're going to keep it here.
No.
Is it going to stay in every case?
No, that's a low number. They made a good deal. Some will be much higher because they have massive trade surpluses, and in many cases they didn't treat us right. One thing with UK, they had it, somewhat closed, not like a China as an example, but they always treated us with great respect.
So
they treated us with great respect. The template of 10 is probably the lowest end, and therefore they made that deal. And
Lala says James O'Keefe just posted a Bondi update. Can you find that for us, Sharon Tier?
We've had just a very special relationship with them. Like, I won't do that deal with cars. I mean, unless somebody shows me that there's another kind of a car that's comparable to a Rolls Royce, and there aren't too many. This is a good commercial for Rolls Royce. They're going to order a lot of cars.
Mr. President, I wonder whether you'd like to buy.
Well, the last time this happened, I ended up.
I would be happy to suggest a discount, obviously a very modest discount. We have to protect our profit margin.
I've had many of them, actually. The last time that happened, I ended up buying a Tesla.
Tesla. I love how he can't say Tesla. How he chooses not to say Tesla. I love it.
Daily Wire. I had a question about the UK deal today. I heard there was talk that part of the agreement would depend on whether the UK would respect free speech and freedom of religion. I know the VP is really interested in that, talked about that earlier this year. Was there any assurances that you guys got on that front?
You want to handle that?
Yeah, that was not part of the conversation. Our conversation was an economic conversation from start to finish, closed by the president yesterday. This was a business deal, open their markets, and also protect their workers, grow our markets, and help our workers.
This was about business religion. Business is sort of a semi-religion, but not nearly as important. I don't want to get myself into
How long is this, Sharon Tier? How long is this?
Presented as brand new information in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. The existing.
I don't even know how long it is. It doesn't even tell me.
Go ahead, in the back.
Mr. President, will you be asking China to help you close, the gap between Ukraine and Russia?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's a natural thing to ask.
What do you expect?
Sure. I don't know. I think we're making good progress. The fighting is a little bit different than it was. I think if we weren't involved, Russia would be, going at it to maybe get the whole thing. And without our involvement, they'd be able to get it. Because we supplied a lot of different things, foolishly, but
It's 2 minutes? Okay, let's play it really quick.
United States Pam Bondi was at the White House and disclosed what she represented as brand new information in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. The existence of tens of thousands of videos featuring little children.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, this is the first time an official has publicly acknowledged that videos of Epstein and his victims exist. What you may not know is just 9 days prior, the Attorney General had a very similar conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been.
Okay.
So.
Any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tens and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
In the past, officials have spoken about the, quote, mountain of evidence in the Epstein case, but they've never, previous to that moment, acknowledged on the existence of videos of, quote, little kids. Just a few days later, at 2 p.m. on May 1st, our reporter sent the AG's office the text of the recording. We asked why this detail had not been disclosed to the public, but was instead being told to a random stranger at a restaurant. The Attorney General used almost the exact same language as she did with the stranger in the restaurant, language that we shared with her press office.
So
Pam Bondi wasn't even hammered.
Videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, we hesitated to publish this story, but believe, like we did yesterday, that the public has a right to know. And this one raises serious questions. On one hand, Why did our country's highest law enforcement official share this information first not with the American people, but with a self-described nanny at brunch? But more importantly, why was this information held back in the first place? Does this show that a government apparatus is still working behind the scenes to protect powerful people involved in the scandal? Based upon the response to our Epstein story yesterday, it's clear that the American people want answers, and they want accountability.
Well, I mean,
yesterday,
we definitely
Attorney
want
General
accountability. Is that something or is that nothing? Get it inside the chat. Something or nothing inside the chat. I mean, it's weird for Pam Bondi to say that to some. Did the lady just? I have so many questions about the brunch. What, number one, was it a boozy brunch? And was that just a person that sat down and started asking about Epstein? I don't get it. Sharon's here says another tease. Oda says yes, but that wasn't news. Lori says something. JDL says Gates got screwed. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. What do you think about Pam Bondi, JDL? Dome Radio says 0. Founding Father says Trump planted. What, they knew that the Nandy was from Project Veritas? Dome Stop Believin' says nothing we didn't know. They're just hiding it in plain sight as usual. I wanted to see a video of Tom Hanks up Prince Andrew, says Aram. All You Can Eat says she is a worker bee for the deep state. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know if that is something or if that's not something, but that is very weird to say to somebody at lunch.
Sort of paid back by doing the rare earth deal that I talked about before. I think that,
I mean, is it a way to get people to talk about something as crazy as that? There's video evidence of people that you think are celebrities and role models fucking kids. Is that a way to drip out that information to get people, you know, like, let's just get that in our head to think about for a little while?
I think that we will be very much involved in trying to get that bloodbath. It's a bloodbath.
Because, sorry, Trump, because we are way already there in believing that, right?
The best is yet to come.
You're right, Poppy. The best. You're right, Poppy. The best is yet to come. Now that you hit that follow button, welcome in. Because we're like so already there. But a lot of these other people, oh my God, it's going to take them years to get to where we are.
It's a horrible situation. 5,000, it's really more than that. But it's 5,000 soldiers on average a week, mostly soldiers, are being killed. Young,
thanks for hitting that follow button, Poppy.
People. I mean, they're being killed. I see the satellite pictures coming back, body parts lying
Is it
all
Poppy
over
or Pappy?
heads and arms. It's so terrible. I've never
to me,
seen
it's
anything
Poppy.
like it, actually. And if we can get that stopped, that will be a great accomplishment. And we're trying very hard. And I think we're close. And Mr. Witkoff is talking constantly back and forth. He's a real professional who's got a great relationship with both countries. And I think we have a good chance. And likewise, we're trying to work on Iran to get that solved without having to get into any bombing, as we say, big bombing. I don't want to do that. I want them to work a deal. I want them to be very successful.
President Edward Lawrence from Fox Business. Yes. On the non-market barriers, how did you get the UK to bend, and what was the 11th hour deal or ask?
Well, I think it was really just a part of the overall. I mean, they have so many things that are so good for them. It's going to be so good for the country, and that was sort of easy. It wasn't. We had non-market. I call it non-market or non-monetary trade barriers, and we had quite a few of them. Not nearly as bad as some countries. Some countries have, you know, they have virtually no tariff, but the rest of it is so brutal you can't do business with them, right? So it's a very important question, actually. No, I think the overall deal just worked out very well from their standpoint. They were willing to give that in order to get other things, and you might want to speak to that, Mr. Ambassador.
Look, the point about the deal is that we will continue reducing tariffs and non-tariff barriers. This is a continuing picture. It's a movie. It's not a still picture here. It's a movie.
Yeah.
It continues.
You gotta be fluid.
We're both committed to freeing up trade between our countries. We're both committed to freeing up investment between our countries. And the point about this deal is that it provides
Good night,
a very
Aram. Do
good
more push-ups.
template and a very good launch pad for what we can continue to do and build on in the future. And that's what we're both determined to do.
You know, many of the
Eli Domer Oda, who is this doofus? That's going to be the ambassador from the UK.
Many of these, we'll keep it confidential. How about just one more little thing, right? It got the deal closed, and it was handled very well from the other side too. But many of these things that we're talking about, we've been talking about this for 25 years. It's hard to explain when, if you weren't sitting behind this beautiful Resolute desk, you just wouldn't get it. I have been hearing about making
Tell me
a deal
about
with
it,
UK
sir.
for 25 years. And especially around the time of Brexit. They wanted to make a deal, so they came out of Brexit and they make a deal, and how natural. And it just couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. Good people. And this is a bigger deal. This is a much bigger, better, stronger deal for both of us than we ever even contemplated before. It's a big deal.
Virtually everyone said that it would end in failure, it would end in tears, and it's ended in exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
But, Mr. President, can I say that that is due to Secretary Lutnick and Ambassador Greer, who've been absolutely fantastic. But
Right.
yesterday I received a call, a very diplomatic call that just edged things over the line, and that was from your new ambassador in the United Kingdom.
Who is terrific. Right?
Warren Stevens, he's here.
Where is Warren?
Right here.
Hello, Warren.
He's flying to London tomorrow night. He's going to be very popular with the British people. He's going to be a very successful ambassador.
We're making friends.
And he's got plenty of cash. That guy's plenty of cash.
We need some more big spenders.
You're going to go ahead fast.
Yes, are you planning to meet Ursula von der Leyen, the president, or do you plan to cancel anytime soon?
Oh, she's so fantastic, right? She's so fantastic.
Angela?
Yeah, the answer is yes. I saw her a few days ago. And I think that we'll definitely meet, yeah. The European Union is a big thing. They want to make a deal very badly.
That's right, our
Everybody wants to
future
make a deal.
enemies,
Look,
the
everybody wants to
European
make
Union.
a deal with the United States, and we're doing that, and we're going to make fair deals. I'm just honored that this was the first one. Go ahead, please.
The Federal Reserve Chairman, Mr. President, says that you would have to call him for a meeting. Do you plan to meet with him? And what do you think about?
And it's like talking to a wall. He should be.
What do you think about not cutting? The Bank of England cut today.
Well, the Bank of England cut, China cut, everybody's cutting but him. It's I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's a shame. I call him Too Late, Too Late Powell. That's his nickname, and it's a shame. It's ridiculous. So meeting, he's always too late. But in this case, it's not going to matter that much because our country is so strong. We're so powerful in terms of economic strength and what we've done. And I'll tell you what, if we didn't have our first term, you wouldn't be. We created.
Dome After Dark says Dome After Dark confirmed tonight. Come hang out, share thoughts, and laugh, even if your thoughts are nutso. Says Dome After Dark. You know what, Ronnie, Mr. Rotella? Feeling good? I'll join for a game or 17.
Things in the first term. We cut more regulations than any president in history. We cut the taxes more than anybody in history. And a very big factor is going to be the tax bill that we have right now.
I might
One
have
big,
a drink and
beautiful bill, as
play
we call
some
it,
Fortnite with you.
which is
I might do that.
all-encompassing, the biggest tax cuts ever in history, bigger than even the first time, and the incentives, even great for the UK because it'll make us so strong that we're going to be doing more business with you. It's a very important element for taxes, for every aspect, regulation cuts. That bill is, I believe it's the biggest bill of its kind ever in the history of this country. And Speaker
String
Johnson
cheers to the cause.
and Leader Thune have done an incredible job. I mean, I'll let you know we have to get a vote, but we have a lot of support for that bill. And if that happens on top of all of these trade deals that we're doing, this country will hit a point that you better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. You know, if we get that. If you don't, and the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, if it was somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person, if you had some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. Welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be.
It's a ceremony
it's
to become
terrible what's happened to the Democrats. So, very, very important element of everything of what we're doing.
Oh my God, I love him so much,
Unrelated
don't
to
you?
today, but
I love him.
related in the sense that we'll do, if that passes, we'll do even more business with the UK. We'll have so much. It's the biggest tax cut in history. It's going to make our country zoom. It's going to be incentive.
It's going to be a dynamo.
Deduction for basically for work. You work, you build, you plant, etc. Your deduction. It's going to be the biggest. It's the biggest bill of its kind ever passed. Maybe the biggest bill ever passed. That's why we call it the one big beautiful bill.
You just announced a new nominee for the U.S. Surgeon General who never finished her residency and is not a practicing physician. So can you explain why you picked her to be America's top doctor?
Because Bobby thought she was fantastic. She's she's a brilliant woman who went through Stanford, and as I understand it, she basically wanted to be an academic as opposed to a surgeon. I think she graduated first in her class at Stanford.
Woo!
And
Cutting
Bobby
for
really
the very
thought she was great.
first
I don't know her. I
time.
listened to the recommendation of Bobby. I met her yesterday and once before. She's a very outstanding person, a great academic, actually. So I think she'll be great.
I know, Mr. President, your nominee for U.S. Attorney of D.C. Do you have a backup plan if this Senate
Oh, I
does
do,
not?
yeah, but he's a terrific person, and he wasn't getting the support from people that I thought. You know, he's done a very good job. Crime is down 25% in D.C. During his period of time. I'm very disappointed in that, but I have so many different things that I'm doing now with the trade. You know, I'm one person. I can only make, boom, I can only lift that little phone so many times in a day. But we have somebody else that will be great. I just want to say Ed is unbelievable, and hopefully
Are we
can
moving
bring
on
him
from Ed?
into, whether it's DOJ or whatever, in some capacity, because really outstanding. It was, to me, it was disappointing. I'll be honest. I have to be straight. I
Yes,
was
sir.
disappointed. A lot of people were disappointed, but that's the way it works sometimes. You know, that's the way
Let's
it works.
primary
and he
tell
wasn't
us.
rejected, but we felt it would be hard. And we have somebody else that we'll be announcing over the next 2 days who's going to be great.
With companies like Ford and Mattel recently saying they're going to raise prices on certain products, how long do you think the American public is going to be patient and wait for you?
Well, I think they're saying that just to try and negotiate deals with me. They're not. Look, tariffs are the most misunderstood thing maybe in any form of business, anywhere in business. Oftentimes the country picks them up. Oftentimes the company picks it up. The people don't pick it up. Okay, the people don't pick it up. And if Ford did that, they wouldn't sell any cars. And if Mattel, I don't know, I'm not so sure. They also said they're the only country I've heard. They said, well, we're going to go counter. We're going to try going someplace else. That's okay. Let him go, and we'll put 100% tariff on his toys, and he won't sell one toy in the United States, and that's their biggest market.
You hear that, Mattel?
I heard that. I mean,
you hear that, Mattel? We're not buying your toys.
I watched this guy talking about how I'm going to go counter. I said, well, I wouldn't want to have him as an executive too long. The Ford people I know very well. What they're doing is negotiating with us by saying that.
I love it. We're now at war. We're now in a trade war with Canada, and we're about to go to war with Mattel. This is what I voted for.
We don't think that's going to happen. Look, I put out a
Fuck
truth
you,
today,
Barbie
and
Dreamhouse.
it said that gas is down, gasoline is down, energy is down, groceries are down, eggs are down. I mean, eggs, thank you very much. but eggs are down. When I came in the first week,
Tell us the egg
you guys
story
hit me
again,
with eggs.
Donald Trump.
I said, what the hell happened with eggs? Eggs were
I'm
up
stealing
like
your joke, Anime.
70% and going up, and they said don't order any for Easter.
Oh boy, he's telling
and
the
we were
egg
thinking
story
about ordering
again.
plastic eggs like everybody was doing. And Brooke did a fantastic job, agriculture. Brooke did a fantastic job, and we had hundreds of thousands of eggs out here on the lawn just 2 weeks ago at Easter. But you take a look at the cost. Energy's down. Even interest rates are down. Now, if the chairman of the Fed, Jerome, if he would lower interest rates like China did, like I think UK did, but like numerous other countries have done, it's like jet fuel. It'd be great. But he doesn't want to do it. I think he doesn't want to do it. Probably he's not in love with me. I think that's right. It's sort of a crazy reason, but that's the way life is. Anybody in his position would be like, it would be like jet fuel. But even without that, we're doing well.
I hear jet fuel can topple over buildings.
But remember this, I've watched you people reporting over the last few months that if we do this, prices are going to go through. Well, groceries are down. All of this stuff is down. Lumber is down. Oil is gone to, we have that thing broke 60, right? $60 a barrel. And $1.98, $1.99 in some cases. And heading in that direction. No, I think it's been amazing, actually. And what that's good for, it gives the consumer more money, and it gives them a better life. Because we just came out of the worst inflation, in my opinion, in the history of our country. They say 48 years. But Biden really screwed it up. He screwed up energy. And he also he spent too much money. He was spending it on, a green new scam. And that's like throwing the money. See that beautiful window behind? Take money, throw it right out that window, because it's the same thing. He spent $10 trillion. He wasted it. Not only was it bad, it was a negative. It wasn't even like it helped a little bit. It was a real negative. And then on top of it, they let 21 million people into our country without any identification, anything. Just let them in. It's very, very sad. Well, we'll do one or two more.
Few more minutes left.
Go ahead. Who are you with?
I'm with the Daily Telegraph. Now, you know me from
Yep, I do.
How concerned are you about the UK's reliance on China? Chinese money in the money market, Chinese exports.
We're not concerned.
Is that something that came up in
honestly,
discussions?
I'm not concerned about anything.
Yeah, man.
If I was, I wouldn't even be here right now. If I was concerned about anything, and it wouldn't be that, but I wouldn't be here right now. No, we're not concerned. We're going to have, I believe, a very good relationship.
And that's the same way I feel about Rumble. Oh my God, I'm so concerned.
With China and a fair relationship, and
I got to have
it'll
that
get bigger and
attitude.
It'll grow. It'll grow. As an example, if they open up the country, that'll be the best thing China ever did for itself. They don't know that yet because it's been a different system, but that'll be the greatest thing that ever happened to China. The people will be happier. They'll buy for less. They'll see things that they never saw before, and they'll be buying them, and it'll really create great long-term peace.
There is no way China opens up for our businesses. No, that will completely take away the control that they have over their citizens. There's no fucking way they do that.
I was one of the Agriculture Secretary, actually. There's a lot of concern about chlorinated chicken, the import of hormone-treated beef. Has that question been addressed, resolved in these talks, or is that something for the continuing negotiations?
Well,
James.
I would just say that it's very clear, and we have in the heads of terms that we are going to discuss all of these types of issues, and obviously the importing country, whether it's us or them, you got to follow the rules on those types of things. But our point is the rules need to make sure that they are based on science, and that's our expectation. We know the UK believes that too, so we want to come to an accommodation. We want the consumers in each country to be able to choose what they want and give them the information that they want.
And we have an incredible EPA led by Administrator Zeldin that is on this. So the talks continue, but we are very, very confident in our products, and what the president has done to open up the markets is unprecedented for these farmers here in America. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Watched this. You saw the stock market decline sharply after Liberation Day, and it's rallied back since then.
Well, now it's going to really rally because don't forget they said this is all a pipe dream, and this is a tough one. This is somebody would say, well, this is easy. This is much tougher, I think, than any other deal because they've been at it for so many years, decades, trying to make this deal. And it's very conclusive, and it's a great deal, and it's a very big deal, actually. And no, this is just the beginning. We're going to be having conferences, or at some point we won't have. We'll just put out a statement that we just signed this country, that country, and after a number of these are done, nobody has enough people to do it. We're just going to put out X country is going to pay this, and if they open up, they're going to do this and that, and they're going to be open up. Everybody wants to be here. You know, I say this is where they want to be shopping. They want to shop in.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
We have the consumer. And we have the consumer like nobody else. And, you know, if this country went bad, the whole world would go bad. But, I agree. But we really saved it from going bad.
I agree.
Can I ask you about the air traffic control issue? Are you looking at getting new software?
I'm glad you asked me about it because I'm just going to be talking to now the heads of the airlines and everything else. So I was all set before we had the rigged election to give out a brand new gorgeous system to one company that was going to do the whole thing, one of the best companies in the world that you know very well. You know, there are 3 or 4 of them that do it. And when they took over, Buttigieg has no clue. You know, he drives to work on his bicycle with his, in all fairness, with his husband on the back, which is a nice, loving relationship. But he didn't have a clue. This guy didn't have a clue. And he's actually a contender for president. Between him and Crockett, you can have that party. But he didn't know what he was doing. And he took what they call dry systems where you have wires in the earth, buried in the earth or whatever. And then you have the open air systems where you have satellites. And you can't mesh them. Anybody would know that if you went through about 2 months of study in school, if you studied that kind of thing. And he did. They spent tens of billions of dollars trying to take old, broken equipment and merging it into existing new equipment with brand new equipment. It's one of the greatest. They spent like $40 billion. And what they did is they made it worse because it doesn't work together. You can't make it work together. If you have a satellite system, you need satellite. If you don't, they had all these different technologies, some of them 50 years old, and they're trying to mesh them in. And they end up spending twice the money they should have. You could have bought a whole new system. So we have a very good guy who you all know, Sean Duffy, is head of transportation, and I've given him a 10-minute lesson in buying, and he's become really good. And we are now in the market to buy a gorgeous, brand new system. The helicopter that crashed into the plane at 400 feet, it shouldn't have been. What would have happened is all sorts of bells and sirens would have been going off 3 minutes before that accident happened, if you had the right equipment, but they didn't. And
I think it was done on purpose.
Unbelievable what it does. You can have, you don't even, well, I was going to say something, but you always, in my opinion, you always need pilots. I want pilots. But you wouldn't even have to have pilots. This system is so incredible what they can do. But we have a system that's obsolete. And what they did is the worst. They tried to go.
I can go for a self-driving car, a self-driving plane. It's gonna need a little bit. I'm gonna need a little bit more talking into for that.
Combine the really old, broken stuff with the new stuff, and you can't combine it. And anybody should have known. So Biden, do you think Biden figured this out? I don't think so, fellas. Do you think he has any clue? He doesn't know what the hell's happening. So here's the story. We're going to be buying a brand new, it's going out to bid very soon, brand new state-of-the-art system that will cover the entire world. I'll give you an example. When my pilot, now I have military pilots, but prior to that I have very good pilots, great pilots. They would land, and I won't tell you which country, but they would use the system of another country. They wouldn't even use the system of the United States. So if I'm landing in New York or Florida or Tennessee, they're using a system from another country. I said, why is that? And they were, you know, they're not into business, but they're just saying, our system doesn't work, sir. And I said, boy, that's pretty sad. But we were all set to give it out to, you know, look, you have a Raytheon and you have different companies like that, numerous companies. And you have companies that would do it, like an IBM.
Let's give it to Elon.
As an example. And you give out one deal, one contract. They gave out hundreds of contractors. They had diggers. They had non-diggers. They had people that focused on satellites. They had hundreds of different contracts. one contract where one guy is controlling everything. If you need a trench,
beep,
then they dig a trench. But if you don't dig the trench, they don't blame you. What happens is you don't dig it, then they say we want a cost overrun. Now, we have it all set, and we're going to be doing it. We would have done it, except that the election took a little strange turn. But the second one didn't. That was too big to rig. Thank you very much, everybody.
I love it. From the Oval Office desk, too big to rig. The last election was stolen. I love it. My favorite part is when the Blonde Squad comes in and shoos everybody away. We gotta... Come on, Mr. Rotella. We gotta let the whole shot play out, right? It's time to leave, everybody. It's time to leave. It's time to leave. UFO Johnny says, rubbing it in. What is coming up next tonight? An impromptu stream coming up next. Boom. The most powerful thumbnail in the gaming category. Ronnie hosting some Dome After Dark tonight. Mr. Rotella gonna join for at least one game tonight, maybe two. Let's just say two right off the bat. I'm at least playing two. I am enjoying this Fortnite season. If you happen to be a gamer domer, come and join us. If you've never watched people play video games, just come and hang out with the chat and hear other domers on the microphone talking with Mr. Rotella. It's a fun time. Ralston says, I need a new drug. Your new drug is Dome After Dark. Now let me write down where we're going to be next. Boom, boom, boom. Pinned to the top of the chat, and I'll also be raiding the stream. I do like that raid function on Rumble. I like it. Hab says, Mr. Rotella has about the same ability to say no to a video game as I did women in Russia, says Habs. I haven't played in like 25 years, Habs. And then like nobody plays in the Rumble gaming categories from like, fuck, I'll fucking play some video games and see if people want to hang out. And it's working pretty well. I think I got like a 516 followers over on Rotella Games. Not bad. Not a bad start. How long have we been... How long has the Gaming Dome been open? Like not even a year, I think. J-Law says spacebar. Yeah, spacebar gate. Let's go to the den. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Great stream, everybody. Very, very, very fun stream. Mr. Rotella in a much better mood tonight. Can you tell when Mr. Rotella's not in a good mood? Get it inside the chat. Can you tell? If Mr. Rotella is not in a good mood, get it inside the chat. Sometimes, yep. Well done, I'm happier now. What's in the crock pot? Nothing's in the crock pot tonight, actually. I ran out of food. I ran out of food. Dome Radio says, I can tell. Sharon's here says, yes, it is, Habs. He's a great Dome addiction. Oh, I thank you. J-Law says, I will see my way out, sir. Thank you, so we can tell. Thank you, J-Law. Ballyho. $1 Dome investment. We appreciate that. Elite Number Brad says, you always come around. It's because of the chat, man. It is. It is because of the chat. Every time I stream, the chat always puts me in a much, much better mood than where I started. Even if I'm up here, you guys bring me up here. It's true. It is true. My friends, if you had a great time tonight, my name is Mr. Rotella. We are here every Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock Eastern for all your misinformation needs. Make sure to hit that Rumble like button. Make sure to hit that Rumble follow button. And until tomorrow night, Ballyho. My friends, if you do want to continue the conversation in Dome After Dark, if you're on your TV, hit that join button. It's somewhere on your TV. Hit that join button. If you're on your desktop, you're going there right now. Ballyho.